Let's turn to Saudi Arabia now. The country is said to be nearing a deal for a $70 billion stake in Sabic. Will Kennedy is back in the studio with the details. So this is Aramco and Sabic. We've talked about this for quite some time. What are the details, Will?
Well, what we know that's new is that finally it seems that this deal is close to being announced. We know that they've been negotiating the terms of the deal since last year when it was first mooted, but what we understand is that it will be announced in the next few days, that it's likely that Saudi Aramco will agree to acquire a 70% stake in Sabic, this giant petrochemical plant, to create a oil chemicals behemoth. And that they will pay about $70 billion for that stake, which will transfer a massive amount of money to the public investment fund, the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, allowing Saudi Arabia to pursue its agenda of diversifying investments away from the fossil fuel industry.
Right. I was going to ask, what can we tell about Prince bin Salman's thinking when it comes to this investment? Was it always on the cards? Is it just one of many that he has in mind?
Well, the background to the deal is this. As we all know, Prince Mohammed had originally come up with the idea of floating a 5% stake in Saudi Aramco to raise up to $100 billion for the PIF. Now, that didn't work because his valuation looked a bit punchy to most global investors and the oil market was very volatile. So this is a sort of fallback plan. What it does is it transfers $70 billion effectively from one arm of the Saudi state to the other, from the Saudi Aramco balance sheet to the PIF, the Sovereign Wealth Fund. So it takes that money out of Saudi Aramco and allows it to invest outside the kingdom, inside the kingdom, but importantly, outside the oil and gas industry, as the kingdom prepares for a future without oil, prepares to modernize under this Vision 2030 plan that the Prince has mooted.
Will, why has it taken so long? There was a lot of talk for a long time about a Saudi Aramco IPO. Then this was the kind of halfway house, as you described it, in terms of getting some sort of a deal done. But it's come a lot later than people had anticipated. Talk to me about the timing.
Well, I'm not sure there's an awful lot to say other than that Saudi Arabia is a country where things take a lot of time to get done. We're talking about coordinating between three state-owned institutions, Sabic, Aramco and the PIF, with the royal court in the middle. We know that the Crown Prince likes to control all these matters, that decisions have to be made in the royal court, and he has a lot on his plate. So I think there's been a lot of to and fro about how much this deal is going to cost and actually has been structured. Now, we should talk about the things that we don't know, Guy. We don't know exactly how this deal will be financed. There's been some talk that it may be paid for in stages to give Saudi Aramco some wiggle room. We also think that Saudi Aramco is likely to announce an international bond of up to $10 billion to help pay for this. There may be bridging loans. So the attention will now focus on, once the deal is announced, exactly how they're going to pay for it and when they're going to pay for it.